Could Sony be raising the price on the PlayStation 5? And we have some more information indicating that the deal for Activision Blizzard could be closing as soon as September. All right, guys, before we get into this, if you're new here, as I see a lot of you are, if you enjoy this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. So last week, we got the financial results for the quarter for Xbox and for PlayStation, and overall the gaming revenues. The gaming business is down, but more so with PlayStation than with Xbox, as they reported here that their software sales plummeted 26%, blaming this on the fact that there were no big PlayStation games released compared to a year ago in 2021, which I find interesting because Horizon Forbidden West and Gran Turismo both released, which you would consider big PlayStation games, and they have revised the annual profit forecast down 16% for its overall gaming business. Now, all of this is obviously something as an investor that you do not want to see, and we are seeing inflation, we are seeing prices of everything going up, and Sony has talked previously about raising prices. Actually, they have raised prices on some of their other products. In fact, in April, they actually raised their prices on some cameras, Blu-ray players, home theater systems, headphones, and speakers. So this has people asking, are they going to raise the price of the PlayStation 5? And Hiroki Totoki had this to say about a potential price increase for the PS5. At this point in time, there's nothing specific I can share with you about prices. So no actual word or anything like that, whether they're going to raise the price of the PS5 or not. But if you take a look at what Sony has been doing over the last couple of months, take a look at some of the analysis. For example, this Forrester analyst Glenn O'Donnell said this to CNBC, saying chip makers face their own increasing supply issues that are exacerbated by the Ukraine war, and demand remains high while supply remains constrained. Energy prices are also on a tear, including electricity. Chip making requires an enormous amount of electric power, and margins are already tight on such products, so they have no choice but to raise prices. So can we be seeing a price increase for the PS5? It's hard to tell whether they will raise the prices or not. It seems like as of right now, if they are continuing to have these supply constraints and there's still such a huge demand for the product, their investors are probably going to want them to raise the price of it, thinking that they're still going to be able to sell out and they're going to get more profit margin and increase their overall revenues for the division going forward. The PS5 right now sold 2.4 million in the last quarter. Their forecasts are 18 million by the end of the fiscal year. And in order to do that, they're going to have to sell about 5 million in the next upcoming quarters, which is going to be more than double what they were able to sell just in this last quarter. So if you're Sony, you're sitting there and you're thinking, if you still think you're going to be able to sell 5 million, if the demand is that high, what's to say you're not going to be able to sell these consoles for $50 extra or for $100 extra? We even just saw with the VR, the Oculus, they raised their prices. Meta raised the prices for their headsets, which is something that, I mean, you take a look at that, and I think a lot of people are going to be turned off with these price raises. As they say here, by adjusting the price of the Quest 2, we can continue to grow our investment in groundbreaking research and new product development that pushes the VR industry to new heights. We have an ambitious VR hardware roadmap beginning with the launch of our high-end headset Project Cambria later this year, and we plan to ship new generations of Meta Quest after that. And because of that, the new pricing are going to be $100 more. So you're going to have the 128 gigabyte Meta Quest 2 for $400 and the 256 gigabytes Meta Quest 2 for $500. And then on top of that, they're also going to be raising the prices of their accessories and refurbished units. And I mean, the only reason they would be doing this again is just because of that profit margin for the investors. What's going on in the world that are making things more expensive to create. But are we going to see this? Are we going to see this within the video game market here, particularly with the PlayStation 5? I would be extremely shocked if Xbox were to do this. I would be blown away if they were to do this. I don't think that they would want to do that, especially with a console like the Xbox Series S. In fact, I see them actually cutting the price of the Xbox Series S at some point to really get it as that mass console that everyone just goes out and buys, almost like an impulse buy with the price of it. But the PS5, if they raise the prices, I can see people still buying it, especially if you go onto social media and you see some of the fanboys who really just brag about spending more money on PlayStation products, on spending $70 for a game upcoming like The Last of Us remake, which to me just blows me away that people would be happy to spend more money on these things, because in their mind, intrinsically, it is more value to them. And Sony has made a product where no matter what they put out, people are always going to be boasting the fact that they'll pay as much as they need to pay to get it because it's the highest quality out there. And I could see them raising the price on the PS5, and I could see people still going out and buying it. And it will be a very interesting move if Sony were to do this, if there will be backlash, or if because the demand is so high that people are going to be willing to spend $50 or even $100 more on a PS5 unit. And finally, I want to talk about the Activision Blizzard deal and Xbox purchasing them. We know this is going to be just an absolutely massive deal if they're able to close this before the end of the year. But if it closes in 2023, it's still going to be extremely exciting, as we're going to see what Xbox is going to do, how fast they're going to be able to get a bunch of games onto Xbox Game Passes. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the new one coming out, going to be right in there on the service as soon as the deal closes. I really hope it is. I think that Xbox has to do that, and I think that will be a massive move, especially if they can close the deal before the end of 2023. But we got some more information. I actually talked a little bit about this on the Plumecast on Saturday, and there was this image here that has a breakdown of kind of some of the key points that Microsoft explained in a 81-page document to the New Zealand Commission, explaining why the Activision Blizzard deal should be legally fine. And some of the main takeaways from here is that they mentioned that, hey, they have 24 first-party development studios included in that, or even the casual game suites that come with Windows. They've mentioned Tencent a lot here, as well as Sony, and how the new PlayStation Plus offering is a Game Pass competitor, which makes you think, hey, if PlayStation didn't rebrand their PlayStation Plus, would that have hurt the argument for Microsoft in order to close this deal? Because now there is a direct competitor that you can see, as they have the Essentials, the Extra, and the premium versions of PlayStation Plus. And they also mentioned things about the new entrants into the video game market, like Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Meta, all these huge companies, which if you look at the landscape of video games, it's not really Microsoft versus Sony right now, as much as it is Microsoft seeing Apple and Netflix and Amazon getting into gaming. With the technology and the size of those companies, they're going to be fighting against them for subscription and for cloud-based gaming. And then they go over a bunch of other things, just kind of explaining like the types of games that they're going to have, and how 82% of Activision Blizzard's 2021 net revenue represented by Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. And they talk about competitors, Japanese competitors, all that type of stuff, explaining why this deal should be legally fine. And if you go through it, it does make sense. I think that there aren't going to be any issues with the New Zealand Commerce Commission with blocking this deal or anything like that. And now we have some more information as to the estimated dates when the country's competition regulators get to make their first or final decision regarding the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Again, this is from the same person here, IDAS, and they have listed all the dates. So for South Korea, July 14th is the date. We're already past that. South Africa, July 15th. Again, already past that. New Zealand, which we were just talking about, August 11th. The United States at the end of August. Japan at the end of August, the beginning of September. The UK, September 1st. Australia, September 15th. And then the EU. There's nothing formally notified, but they say here probably very close. So I would say end of September. And all of the dates could be extended. So when you take a look at all of these dates, theoretically, this deal could be closed by the end of September at the latest, and potentially have the deal passed by October, meaning that they could really, if they move fast, get some big games into Xbox Game Pass before the end of the year, particularly Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, will that happen? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if they're going to want to move and get everything going and get everything launched right away as soon as the deal closes, or if they're going to want to take a couple of months to get their marketing down and get their announcements in line, and then just kind of spread out the release of these games into Xbox Game Pass. But like I've said multiple times, if it does happen, if Microsoft can get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 into Xbox Game Pass before the end of this year, I think that will be a massive win, and it will kind of have a lot of people forgetting on the Xbox side as to them not releasing a big first-party Xbox Game Studios game in 2022. I think a lot of people will kind of forgive them if they can get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 into the service, and then early in 2023 getting Starfield and Redfall and all the other games that are going to be coming out. But that's it for me, guys. Do you think Sony will be raising the price of the PS5, and do you think that Microsoft is going to be able to close this deal before the end of the year? And if they do, what do you think their plan is going to be for getting games into Xbox Game Pass? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.